Welcome back, everyone. 2nd July 2025. We are about 2/5 of the year, 3/5 of the year through. Jesus Christ, we are flying through. Big game this weekend. Carlton versus the old enemy, Collingwood Football Club, top of the ladder and true to form. We are like Carlton Football Club. We have 2-minute, last-minute ads outs, which weren't published. We have brought in Russell as the booking agent, and we are back to being devious. Nick sends his apologies. He has work commitments, and Jono was very vague while he was out this week, but he will be back next week. So, still got a crack team, though, because once more into the breach. So, I'm Pommy, as you know, joining me. The old guard is here, the two old guards, my Mark Murphy and Cade Simpson. We'll start with Cade Simpson. Long sleeves, short words, short answers, incredible mathematical knowledge. Mr. LekDog, how are thou?
I'm well, mate. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to ask a few more players. It's good. I think if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know how I'm feeling. I had a mental breakdown and did about a 2,000-word thread. So, no, we're good, man. We're happy.
You know what? I did actually read your tweet, and I was like, I know you're struggling when you voluntarily talk about Carlton.
Yeah, well, I keep having these memories pop up from when I first got involved with BA and you, and I was like so active, and I was doing all this number work and doing all this really positive stuff, and I was like, that's a bit of a throwback, but without the positivity.
You know what? I've known LekDog for a long time, and out of all the people that talk about Carlton, he probably talks about Carlton the least off camera. So, shout out Lek. You know Lek is in a bad mood if he voluntarily drops some Carlton knowledge. That's when it's bad. Time to worry. But a man that always finds a positive, but is slowly descending into negativity in the last couple of weeks. This is also when you know it's bad. When the ever-smiling, ever-positive Ian Brown is Googling hangman knots. Ian, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, Pommy. Very happy to be here, even though Carlton are struggling once again. But it's a very familiar feeling. So we've been through it before. We'll get through it again.
This is where we thrive, mate. This is where we were born.
Great for content,
Like Bane, we were born in the darkness.
Yeah, you know what? Someone actually posted in one, I think it was the Cheer Squad group, and it was like the quote, pressure makes diamonds. And someone had put a comment underneath it and goes, but pressure in an oxidized area creates oil, which is basically with carbonated waste. And I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, yeah, well done, mate. Fantastic. You've made me depressed now. Thank you very much for that. But shout out Caden as well. He went full LekDog on a stat the other day. If you go and check the Footy Abroad post on my channel, he deep dived and created his own algorithm before your very eyes on a stat. So I was very impressed. Shout out to you, Caden. It made me happy. So what we do now is we start like we did last week, right? I'm going to ask you one each and chat. What are your non-negotiables for this week as we pick this team? LekDog, one non-negotiable that we are putting in to this team.
Oh, God. I forgot we were doing this. I'm going to say pressure. I'm going to say pressure. You got to pressure Collingwood. Shout out to the people in chat who were 45 minutes early and are talking about Kranskis and Kievs.
Oh, how good's a cheese Kransky just quietly?
My mate's dad just sold his Kransky business, and it's fucking devastating.
You know, that is quite heartbreaking. But, I mean, you've still got that vegan dog food company that your family own. So you've always got that. Ian, what are your non-negotiables this week?
I'm going to keep it somewhat simple show me that you want to be here next season.
Oh, Oh, hey. Okay. Show me you want to be here.
That is a theme that I took into my team this week. I can already tell you that.
You know what? It is weird, actually, because, usually me and LekDog do these types of shows towards the end of the season, and we always have this theory that the players that are out of contract suddenly put a body of 3 months that are amazing, and it's me and LekDog take the piss that it's just the pay rise 3 months, and in 5 months they're going to be rubbish. No one's actually doing that at the minute, so, I mean, that is quite fascinating that maybe they're not aware they could be out of work in 3 months' time. Very scary. My non-negotiable is, right, oh dear. You know what, right? I'm going to go with an ancient word, a little bit of chutzpah. Hey, look, that shout out to Jono. I do believe that is an ancient Aramaic word. I do believe. I could be wrong, but I do know chutzpah, a little bit of spunk, a little bit of spark, like go out on your sword. Let's see what chat have got. I do like that. Dilly dally. I do like that. Quit your dilly dallying. Show me some fire. No smiling. You know what? No happiness. I like that, Matt. Stop fucking smiling.
They love a smile, don't they?
I do think that's how you spell it. Am I right? Look,
I'll back it in.
Look. I'm pretty sure that it's a which is CH. Youth, Moya, effort. You know what, chat? No favourites. I do like that. You know what? We're going to condense that to Summit New. We've got a nice phrase there, look, and then we've gone with a northern phrase, summit, something for you educated. So what we'll do now, that is what our non-negotiables are this week, chat. That is this week's pressure point. Do excuse me, I've got a new camera set up, so you will see I tilt my head.
I'm just on the side scrolling through to see if Carlton's done any announcements or anything. And one of my favorite things on Twitter is just seeing Bucky respond to everything Carlton posts super overtly positively when I know that he just wishes.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that. I fucking love Bucky. I love Bucky. Shout out Bucky if you're watching. I do know you check the show out. I love you, mate. Right, here we are. Right, so now what we'll do is we brought back the Look Children wagon wheel. So there's a Family Guy reference for you. We'll see who goes first. Well, just there we are.
I don't think it's going to be a slow build-up like it was last week. I think we're diving
Here
straight
is
in.
Team LekDog. Make sure you get your questions. We love you too, Albert. Thank you very much. Make sure you get questions. LekDog, 5 minutes. Take us through your chutzpah team.
I mean, this is basically the team I picked last week, to be honest with you. Obviously, with a couple of forced changes in Silvani, and I don't even know if Sard was in. My new theme, which started last week, is I'm going to be dropping Tom De Koning every single week. Mark Pitnet will be my ruckman every single week until Tom De Koning either shows that he wants to play for Carlton. I don't care if he wants to leave next year, but this year just gives me any sort of indication that he's fucking half interested in football. That'd be fantastic. I try to be super positive, but he's been smashed in the ruck the last few weeks. And someone I was listening to said it, that if Mark Pitnet was playing with that form, he would be dropped. And I agree. So just for the record, Tom De Koning is going to be out of my team until he looks like he wants to play football for the Carlton Football Club this season. Don't care what he does next year. The back line, O'Farrell comes in for Silvani. I think he's just I think we've really lucked out with him, to be honest with you. He's just a bit of a jet. I think the more games we can get into him without the pressure of him being necessarily the main man is going to be good for us long term. I see him as a big piece of this team moving forward, along with young Dean, who we've got this year's father-son. So they're going to start to build up the back of that spine for us. Good on him. Lockie Cowan comes in. My caveat here is that I'm not bringing him in. If I'm the coach, I'm not bringing him in as a lockdown defender, which we seem to use him as every single week. I'd love to see us just one week, just use him for the skills that he brought to the club when we drafted him. And that is his explosiveness off half back, his ability to kick a very, very long ball. Inevitably will bring him in and he will just play a lockdown role of some description on Jamie Elliott, which will be shit. Ollie Hollands, who had like 32 or 42 something pressure acts in the weekend. He's one of the few players over the last few weeks who does look like he gives a shit. I love Ollie Hollands. I've never understood any of the hate on Ollie Hollands, and he's on the wing for me, opposite Lucas Camporelli, who hasn't been as good the last couple of weeks as he has been previously, but I want a winger who's going to keep his width. I don't want Lucas Camporelli playing behind the ball like we see him do at times in the VFL. I don't understand it, so he holds his width with Ollie. And then the half-forward line, we're keeping Flynn in. Don't want him as the sub. Just going to keep him in, give him the full game, or at least start him on the field. Maybe we sub him out. Ashton Moyer, Pom, you did a video on him just today. He's been really good for the last few weeks in the VFL, playing that mid-forward role, which we've been using guys like Motlop in. So why not bring in the guy who's actually doing that role successfully at VFL? He comes in. Pito and the ruck comes in, and then Ben Camporelli comes in for me as well. Fogarty's probably my sub. I don't think he's bad enough to drop. I think he's been pretty good, to be honest, the last few weeks, but I don't think he's got a natural rotation. Fantasia's, forwards rotation. Billy Wilson's your defensive rotation. Camporelli's your mid. And Chincotta, we can use him in any way we want. Inevitably, we're probably going to try and tag Nick Dacos with him. I don't know if I would necessarily do a super hard tag, but that's what he's in the team for. Who did we lose? Silvani Sard injured. Tom DeConnick out of my team until further notice. Lewis Young, I don't like the extra tall up forward. Cooper Lord and Blake Akers come out. Cooper Lord is an interesting one. I find myself asking, have we ruined another player, or was he never actually that good? He looks like a footballer. I just haven't seen it at senior level.
Mate's gone bold. Mate's gone bold. Albert, straight away. You have occasionally saved your protege, Francis Evans.
Frankie Evans was in this team
well when you told him that he was under 25 as well. Not many people believed you.
Well, he looks like he's 80, but he's 23. I think he was in this side, but I just couldn't in my head drop one of Billy Wilson or Alex Chincotta for him, and I wanted Fogarty to be rewarded for kind of caring. So there was a version of this team with no Billy Wilson and with Frankie Evans, but for the moment, he didn't make the cut.
Paul wants to know, second ruck.
Cripps, who cares? Don't even contest the second ruck. Does it matter? We've been getting smashed around the ball anyway. Let's just go with Cripper in there. He doesn't even have to jump. Pito does all the center of the ground work. Let's just work it out, because whatever we're doing at the moment with the second ruck, it ain't working anyway. So let's just have Cripper in there.
Any concerns, Ian, with this team?
I honestly don't. I love a lot of the moves. You've kind of explained a lot of it really well. My one thing would just be around, I guess, O'Farrell at this stage. We liked what we saw in that game against GWS. You could have potentially moved like a Lewis Young into defense. Was it simply you want to get games into him for the future? Or was there any concern of, I guess, bringing in some of these young guys and potentially killing their confidence with what they're stepping into right now?
Well, if I'm coaching them, there's literally no expectations for them but to show up. It's like, mate, you're going to get booed by the Collingwood supporters. You're going to get booed by the Carlton supporters, but don't worry about it, boys. If you show up and act like you care, you're fine. Harry O'Farrell, to me, is just a closer like-for-like to JSOS than Young is. The alternative is if you go Young at fullback, Wiedering is a bit more of a peel-off player, but Wiedering is carrying that ankle injury, so he's not moving terribly well. I just think O'Farrell fits the mold better than Lewis Young does. But if you wanted to put Lewis Young back, that's fine. That to me is more of a I'm desperate to win this game move, putting Young back rather than playing O'Farrell. And I'm not particularly desperate to win this game. I'd like to win, but I actually think O'Farrell, even in the short term, is more in the plans than Lewis Young is. And some people say Billy Wilson might be injured. I know he went off late, but I didn't see him on the injury report unless I read it wrong. If he is injured, then you can put Frankie Evans in instead.
Mate, hey, do you know what I mean? I do love it. I do love it. You've gone bold. You've gone bold. Let's have a bit of fun. Me and Ian left.
Love the wheel, Pommy.
I like the wheel too, actually. I just like it.
Let's be close.
You know what I need to do? I need to get some sound effects for that. Next week, I will sort out some sound effects for this because I think it will be sick. So here we go. Team Pommy wheeling in the changes. So I had a look at this. I see a few of you asking about Billy Wilson. Julie nailed it. Yeah, the club confirmed it was cramp. It did worry me when they said cramp from a short turnaround. I know he played VFL, but he did play a full AFL game the week before. But I've got to trust the club. So what I've done is I've tried to keep it simple. I've gone with our principle. So the principle that I said, a bit of chutzpah, I tried to do it. So what I've tried to do is create a little bit of dynamism in this team that's not very dynamic. Cowan comes in. I'm going to play Cowan in that. LekDog's going to hate me, but I'm going to play him in that natural intercept role. I've played Haynes there. I want Haynes to do what he did last week, kind of be the legwork for Wheater in, but protect O'Farrell. Protect O'Farrell from that central ball in. Moved Boyd up to halfback. Can't believe last week we had an opportunity where Sard got knocked out and we didn't try and use our natural halfbacks to take up the load. So we're going to go in with that type of method. O'Farrell natural. Ollie Holland's out on the wing. And then I've gone Ashton Moyer, tried to keep him up to where he was in the VFL. If you watch my VFL video, playing out on the wing, resting half forward, pinch hitting in the middle, like the Blake Acres role that he's been playing. So I figured let's give him that time. Make Lord the same type of player out wide. I've already got two natural wingers in this team, so we can heavily rotate that one. Flynn Young starts as my conduit. You'll see centre-half forward. We've moved Cripps up to the centre-half forward. The reason being, I'm a firm believer that there is no such thing as two bulls in the side. I hate to see it. And you will see that I have made an error. That is meant to be Wilson. We're not tagging. We're not tagging players this week. The person to tag in this team would be Mr. Nick Dacos. I'm not tagging him at all. We're going to just go with them heads up. Heads up. Fantasia half forward. Fogarty, Motlop, McGovern full forward. Then we're going to go Pitnet as the solo ruck. Same as Mr. LekDog. I don't believe in... I feel like he's been out of form the last 2 weeks. I want to see an eye for next year. If D. Corning's not going to be here, which it looks likely he's not, we've got to see how this midfield operates. So you'll see Hewitt now is the centre man. Cherrett and Williams are on the ball. We're going to float Moyer through the ball. We're going to float Williams through the ball. We're going to float Ollie a little bit on the ball. We're going to attack with a little bit of leg speed, get the ball working. My sub in this game would be Francis Evans. We've got a team there. Any questions from the chat and you guys? Lemmy makes his debut as well.
What would you expect from Lemmy Pom as a first game key forward against the Premier favourites this year?
Well, I mean, the thing is, when you watch them play, when you watch Collingwood play, the teams don't have issues getting it inside 50. They have issues stopping them from exiting out of 50. So I've tried to go a little bit smaller and put the pressure on there and try and replicate what we've seen from West Coast, what we saw from Melbourne. They just ran out of the legs. So I want Lemmy there to come in from the third position. The third position. The idea here is I want Cripps to play that dummy role and get him as close to the goal square as possible to manhandle Darcy Moore. And they're almost the same height and body weight. So it's quite a weird thing, but Cripps should be able to handle that. And then I want to get McGovern and Lemmy working high up the ground. Try and create some space. And then these dangerous players get inside there. I don't want to see Carlton, and I dread to see it. Curnow is horrifically out of form. TDK has struggled against Darcy Cameron historically. I feel like you've got to send a message. So I want to put a bullet in TDK, put a bullet in Curnow, and go, we're going up against the best in the league. And they have let us down this last couple of weeks when we've needed them. Here is your opportunity. So with Lemmy, I want him to get up the ground. I want him to target Charlie Dean. He's going to get the easiest defender, who is himself hanging on by a thread, end his career. I would be saying to Lemmy, you are going to begin your career, and today you are going to end the career of Charlie Dean.
I like it. Curnow was very close to not making it to my team. I just didn't know or didn't think Lemmy would necessarily be up to it, but I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, we've kind of addressed the TDK thing, but there's a lot of questions about him. I think I'm gonna take back my apologies from the start of the year, where I apologize for all the not abuse, but all the negativity I'd put on TDK's ruck work, because I think I'm back to Team Pito. I am back to Team Pito. Are you just making a statement, Pom, or are you legit think just we're better off with Pito in the team?
I think we're better off with TDK, but I feel like I'm better off with... It's the same reason I've dropped Charlie. For them to play, they have to do what they're good at. So Charlie has been... He's always been weak at defence. But he is always made up for goals. And he's not leading well. He's not leading into lanes. And TDK, his strength really is the fact that we're obsessed with last year playing 3 balls in the midfield, Kennedy, Hewitt and Cripps, when no one else is playing 2. They've gone down to 1. And then this year we've played 2 when some of them aren't even playing a ball anymore. So he kind of is glossed on that. So what I've done is remove the ball out there, brought in the nippy players and said, look, let's have a look at what it looks like next year. And you're playing for careers. Now. Williams has got another year on that exorbitant contract. He can only play in midfield on that contract, in my opinion. So we've got to see it. Ashton, a few comments in there, I think a little bit harsh from Shiny Blue as well. No one watches as much VFL football as me. And yes, he got some junk time goals, but you've got to look at his work all around the ground for 2 weeks. And I see a lot of Charleston love. Charleston's only done that against the 2 worst sides in the league and when all the halfback line's gone. So you can't bring Charleston into this team because the halfbacks are the next runs in the cab. So I didn't want to drop anyone. Maybe Wilson, but I feel like Wilson needs 5 weeks. So I've tried to bring in some players here that can attack.
And I'm assuming, guys, just as a collective, when we're picking this team, we're coaching it or having the game plan, right? We're not picking the team and then playing Voss's game plan. The intention, I'm assuming, is for us to keep our width, use our halfbackers, overlap, have some run. We're not just moving the magnets and then playing all contested 18 behind the ball, I'm assuming.
Well, I've tried to base this on what Wheaterin, Cripps and Haynes have said. And Wheaterin and Haynes and Cripps have kind of alluded to the game plan is attacking, the players aren't executing it. So I'm not calling Michael Voss a liar. I'd never call another man a liar, and I'd never call Cripps, Wheatering, and Haynes a liar. So what I've done is I've forced them to play that way. Then we've got great two-way runners in this team, but all of them work hard both ways. There shouldn't be a defensive bone and an attacking bone. There should be equal amounts in this. Go and do it. And I want the midfield to work hard. I'm looking at Chera Williams here because the scariest stat I can give you, and if you watch the Moya video, is Carlton are the only team that have a contested player, right, as their leading score involvement and chain starter. The other players in that list are your Nick Dacoses, your Finnos, Callahans, your players who are receiving the ball. Carlton's players that are getting the hard work means it's not going to anyone that can damage you. So I've said to Hewitt, here you are him now. I'm putting all the guys to have fun with you. Make them have fun.
Like it.
Yeah, love it.
Why would I drop Wilson? He's here, look. It's on the bench. I haven't. Look, I'd never do that to him. Pommyinoz royalty. Do you know what I mean? It's Pommyinoz royalty. I'd never drop my boy Wilson. Loves the Ben's approach. Ben Camporelli, I feel like he's due it and I want to see a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I really think he is. Shiny Blue, don't get offended. What I'm saying is, though, I think it's unfair to say that all Ashton's done is kick goals. You can see a massive change in his game, and you can see a massive change in Charleston's game, which, unfortunately, I don't think Boyd, who's just come in, Wilson, who, if we start playing him, dropping him, playing him, dropping him, he's never going to develop. And Ollie Hollins, I don't feel like any of them three deserve being dropped just because Charleston's played 1.5 very good games at very high standard in the attacking role. And I don't want Charleston to come in and play a lockdown defensive role, which is what we saw Wilson play last week, and it's only going to hinder his development. I want him to go out there and have a bit of fun. And when he comes in for Boyd, or he comes in an attacking role. And that's why Moya's there. Moya is the next person who can play out wide and in there. What are we saying? Charlie must apologise. You wouldn't drop Charlie this week. You'd play him in defence. What's he apologising for? I don't get it. What have I missed? Chat, fill me in. No one's dropped Motlop. The reason I didn't drop Motlop is I think, in fairness, if you look at Motlop play when he plays small forward, he's the leading small forward goal kicker for Carlton this year.
Yeah.
When he has played small forward.
I'm not going to say the reasons I think that everyone hates Motlop, but I think they're unfounded compared to his actual output when he's played in the role he's actually supposed to play.
I agree.
As soon as those things become a narrative, it feels like everyone just goes for them. And I hate the Motlop hate.
And the way I see it, I look at it this way to answer your chat in all honesty. If you said to me, who would I rather keep long-term, Fogarty, Evans, the small forwards we've got, Motlop would be at the top of that because he's the cheapest to keep. He's the youngest and with the scope of improvement. So I'd rather use Evans. That's why Evans is in the team as the extra, as the sub, because he's not going to be here next year. So I'd rather waste his life than
the way
a kid.
And that way we enter the ball inside 50. Just good luck to anyone. When you see the stats that we're one of the worst in the competition at our efficiency inside forward 50, well, what hope does anyone have, let alone Jesse Motlop, at actually being able to produce their best football? I don't understand it.
No, and Brian there, and I'm not attacking you, Brian, saying Motlop is slow as a small forward. Well, he's a slow player. Just because he's an indigenous small forward doesn't mean he's Jeff Garland sprinting around at 30 kilos. Like the kid's got tree trunks for legs, and he's actually built like he isn't a speedy small forward. So don't expect him to be. would be my point.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I've just kept him in there because, look, play him in the actual forward role. And this forward line should be encouragement. To confirm, so I've dropped Charlie purely out of form. So I can't have a key forward in my team that isn't kicking 3 goals a week consistently. If he doesn't...
Toby Pink.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I've got to make a statement, and I can't drop Cripps. Do you know what I mean? You can't drop Cripps. There has to be a standard set. So I want to see that. I want to see a statement being made. So I figured Cripper wants to see his boys. He said it in this week. Wants to see who's going to go with him. I think the greatest example I could set as a coach is say, right, Cripps, you're a great overhead mark. You're going to lead that forward line. You're going to see what this midfield does. You're going to see who the men are in your team this week. You're going to have to lead them and put it on him. And unfortunately, I think Chera was horrible. Chera came close to being dropped because you can't have handball receives and have that much free ball and do fuck all with it. So you can't drop too many players, because when I looked at the VFL, I was like, fuck all, I've got his halfbacks. Like, started crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to start changing players. I'm going to have to start... And you have to start playing Ruben Amorim 9 down the back. So I didn't know what to do. So honestly, I thought, and I didn't want to bring Lucas Camporelli in. I know this sounds harsh, but I could see Lucas is going to be a very good player. But I was like, I don't want to just bring him in ad hoc. I'd rather go a little bit more attacking.
Yeah, but Pom, think about all the Instagram posts we can do if they both play.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I agree with you, Trav. McGovern, but McGovern has kicked more goals over the last 3, unfortunately, than Charlie. So it would be... I don't believe in this history. You get some faith from being good a while ago. I believe your form is only the last 5 games. And like genuinely, if Charlie knocked on my door and said, you can't drop me, I'm the Coleman medalist, I'd be like, don't care, mate.
That's it.
Like,
some message. Message does need to be sent. I think importantly, there feels like a safety from all these top players for us at the moment, where they know they're never going to get dropped because it's never happened. So once you start to do it, does that start to set a bit of a standard of, okay, my position is not secure? And maybe that is not the most ideal thing to do when you're struggling so much, because maybe these players will have enough and leave the football club. But if that's their mentality, then that's probably the best thing that could happen for me.
Yeah.
So I think it's a win regardless.
And this is what I didn't want to do, Trav, because this is what Carlton do. We pigeonhole a player to keep them in, to keep them happy. Like, personally for me, I look at Collingwood. Ned Long has kept Tom Mitchell out of the side for 6 weeks. And he's only come in because they've had injuries, and McRae has confirmed that Long will take the majority of the inside minutes, hence Tom Mitchell playing at halfback in the VFL last week. That excites me, because that message is, I don't care, you're a Brownlow medalist, you've won a flag. You've lost your job to a guy that's working harder. You've got to go and take it back. So I didn't want to have that thing of Charlie high half forward, Charlie wing. I wanted force you to be good. So, Ian, the axe came too.
Yeah, I think it has. And we've gone 3 from 3 just quietly. TDK out, Big Pitto in. Everything LekDog said is exactly my thoughts on him. His form's been atrocious, and added on with the fact that he's probably not going to be there next season, and everything that's clouding his ability to play right now, it's just, I don't want to see him until he either commits or starts playing good football, because it's been horrifically bad. And the other week against North, Pitto looked the better ruckman, and then we dropped him and we looked worse again. So for me, it's just, let's play the guy who is competing stronger, because decoding strength is his flight, his jump. He's not doing that against these ruckmen at the moment. He's trying to outbody them. Don't know what he's doing. Get him out. I want big Brad Pitt as my starting ruckman. Apart from those changes, slight oversight as well before anyone brings it up. You can switch Boyd and Cincotta around if you want. Cincotta's in there to play a lockdown defensive role. Boyd will be the free-flowing halfback. That's just me being lazy and moving around my team from last week. But Cowan moves on to the halfback, replacing Sard. Would have made this move if Sard was healthy or not, to be honest. Been very critical of the way Sard and these kind of 27 and above, those who are meant to be those leaders, the dependables, Sard continually picks up the ball, does not look for the option, and just kicks it. And he's been doing it his whole seemingly career for us. And now that we're playing horrifically poor and we've got options to come in, we just can't be having that. We need players to be giving the first option. It's just stifling our movement and just putting us under a lot more pressure. And Lockie Cowan, please, and Carlton, please, play this man as an attacking halfback like he did his entire under-18s career. He's so good. Stop playing him as a lockdown. Other moves, Akers, again, just another one whose form's been horrific, that we seemingly are continuing to play him due to his seniority. Get that out of there. Ollie Hollands moves up onto the wing and can play that more defensive side. Lucas comes in, a bit more of a free role. You can be that attacking winger like Ollie was, I guess, when he started as well. So that's kind of where I'm seeing it. Ollie Hollands takes over as the experienced. Lucas is the youngster. Ashton Moy's form has been really, really good. So straight away, Ashton comes in, can kind of play where he wants in that forward line. There's been the form clearly, and then also looking to that future and just wanting to see a bit of a glimpse of him. Right now, everything's sad with Carlton. I want to be happy. Ashton Moy makes me happy. He's in. And then, as far as some other moves, Silvani out with the injury. Lewis Young's moved into defense over an O'Farrell simply for a second ruck. Obviously, LekDog doesn't think as highly of that as me, and I still don't think of it that highly. But Lewis Young in just at the moment, but I'd be prepared to make that change for O'Farrell next week. Just want to see what it looks like this time round. And Ben Campo comes in. It was pretty grim as far as who I could potentially move around here, but I just think the midfield's quite stale and we need something else. And so while I've got the very dull starting midfield lineup on paper, I want, like Pommy, a lot of rotations. I want Williams in there. I'll give Moya a few centre bounces. Ben will be in there. Cooper will be in there. Just heaps of rotations around the place. And I feel like it just adds to what we have. Flynn Young stays in the team. Billy Wilson stays in the team. And then Doherty is sub out of, it was him or Fogarty, and Fogarty has annoyed me more over the last few weeks with just some poor misses. Not by much. So Doc is the sub.
Some questions from chat. This is intriguing. Centre half back. Lewis Young's in the ruck. You're throwing in.
Mate, honestly, doesn't matter. Collingwood are not that tall. I honestly think you could get away with it. It's just become sort of Nick Haynes, to be honest. I really don't think Lewis Young will be in there for a lot of the time, which is why I'm allowing him to kind of play that switch role. Like LekDog said, Cripps can go in there. Hell, finally Motlop gets his chance. He can ruck if we need to at times. But for those couple of occasions, I think you time it well and Haynes becomes more of that tall because I know I don't like him being locked down, but Cowan's got a bit of height to play that intercept role. He can easily move into the Haynes spot if we need him to.
Yeah. We're pretty tall down back anyway.
Big question, and I want chats and your opinion. Jackson Binns, we haven't thought about it. No one's brought him in, right? Does anyone else get the feeling like I do that he's Matt Kennedy 2.0 and Voss has basically surplused him to requirements?
I thought about having him in my team because I love him. I think the thing that, mate, they've played him in 6 different positions, it feels like. So I don't know if they're very confident in him. I don't know. And then he's getting yelled at by Vossi. I don't know. Doesn't seem like they love him, would be what I'll say.
Motlop Rock, only position he hasn't played. Ian, do you think that's it? for him. Because even the VFL, I've noticed they've replaced it. They've replaced Binns as well. Ashton, he's getting that 70% mid-wing role, then going on the ball. Does feel very Matt Kennedy, because I feel like Voss was always pushing Matt Kennedy out of the door with the way he was always being moved around. It feels like that is what Michael Voss does before he kills you.
Yeah, there's clearly something that they don't like about what Jackson Binns is bringing. Whenever he seems to play that wing role, he racks up the disposals quite a lot. So he's clearly in a lot of the right positions and getting his hands to the footy. He hasn't necessarily amazed me when he has played, which is why he's kind of not in this squad. I'd like to see Lucas above Binns. I think there's a higher potential and he's probably more part of the future plans, but he was in consideration for my kind of sub role, was where I kind of saw Binns at the moment. But yeah, it just all the signs point to he's probably not going to be there.
I think he's good. He's a good depth player on your list. I don't think he's your starting wingman or whatever. I think he's ideal to come in for a few weeks here and there. Different type of player, but Dylan Stevens, for instance, at North Melbourne, he just comes in to pinch hit here and there. And I mean, that's fine if you're a player that does that and plays 10 games a year. But that's actually okay.
You know what? I agree with Cracker. I feel like he's gone, and I think he's with him being in contract. I feel like it's going to be like an under the table trade. So it just does feel like he's gone. Because I watched this week, and when I saw Patrick Dodsey get the wing role, I was like, okay, you're sending a message, aren't you? You're sending a message. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I just feel first in, he's always, since he's come back in, it felt like, reading between the lines, it felt like Voss was looking for a reason to get rid of him.
Yeah, and I feel we do have a few of his type already, and he's, I think, down the rankings as far as that's concerned in the depth chart. So it's not the worst thing to be losing him. I'm not sure he has shown enough when he has played. He hasn't been poor, but yeah, for me in this week, Lucas or Binns, I'm going Lucas.
Because how does everyone feel in chat and you guys? I'm a firm believer that the wing, genuinely, if you look historically in the AFL over the last 5 years, easiest role to debut in. Like everyone's debuting a 12-year-old who can sprint. I agree with Cracker. I think he is Lockie O'Brien with a little bit more skill. Like genuinely a little bit more attacking now. Similar traits, though, likes to keep his width. I think he's a better accumulator, but I don't think Jackson Binns is going to be A grade. I think he's going to be a solid B grader, like Jackson Nunes type ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But what scares me is why wasn't that Lucas Camporelli? Because Voss was quite open. Camporelli had to work on his defense a little bit, which I thought was a weird statement, considering he started most of last year as a halfback before moved to the wing for South Australia. Wouldn't it have been better giving him 6-8 weeks to be on the wing and expose him to the AFL a little bit?
And I think, honestly, if they'd won a couple of those starting games, he probably would have, but they panicked.
Yeah. You know what? Shiny Blue nails it as well. I've always seen Matt Cottrell. I see Matt Cottrell and Jackson Binns, same player. A full caveat, I hated the pickup of Matt Cottrell when we got him. because he was just a guy that ran like a fucking maniac and blazed the ball away. And he has been converted over time. And it did take a while to being a high half forward. I think that would have been the go, to be honest, play him that way. And it's funny, isn't it, how life works out. Elijah isn't playing. Matt Cottrell's done whatever he's done. There's probably a role there that we're trying to fabricate that if we maybe looked at his VFL, his junior form, he was playing half forward half the time. So, it feels an opportunity missed.
I thought if Binns was going to succeed for us, it would be in a high half forward role because of his attacking nature. He was nowhere near that defensive winger, and I wasn't sure if it was going to survive for him. But I thought the way he wanted to take that game on, the aggressiveness in him, and he could kick a goal as well. So many on-the-run goals from 50. I thought, oh, this is exciting. This could be what we need eventually. Start on the wing and then kind of move up when you're more up to the pace of the game. But they just don't play him in that role. So maybe he just doesn't have it, or maybe Voss doesn't have it.
You know, this is the other one as well, and I agree with Shine and Boo. Sometimes I feel like we pigeonhole our players and give up on them. You know, for some reason, there's certain players that we just can't give up on. Liam Jones is case in point. We had to make that work. We looked out. It was a key back. Jack Silvani, right? The club were adamant he wasn't a forward. They looked out because they were ineffective at buying a defender and tried it too late. The irony, we've had some hack defenders on our list, Sam Durden and stuff, and not one twat has done it. This is another one as well. Does anyone else feel like we've all dropped Blake Acres? So before we go on the team, I want your opinion on this. Do you feel like Blake Acres, we have got this obsession with this defensive, we're like Essendon 3 years ago, right? Where they bought 4 9-foot wingmen because one team had played it and they were like, we're ahead of the curve. Do you not feel like Acres is purely getting a game because he runs and marks the ball, but then it's almost like no one else can play that role? Because I think Cracker makes a great suggestion. Chincotta, if you want to defend something, Chincotta's got a great engine. He started life as a halfback, moved into the midfield, went back to the halfback. He has got an elite engine. He's the fastest player on our team as well, by a long way, right? By a long way. I was blown away when I was told this, but by a 50-meter sprint, another level. Why have we never tried that?
If it ain't putting Mitch McGovern behind the ball, we don't try nothing. Let's pick this team, Pom.
Yeah, fucking someone's having our eyes out, guys. I'm telling you. You know what I am excited about is everyone for the first time ever. Look, there's no TDK.
Yeah, I can't believe we all went there. That's amazing.
Okay,
I was like, all right, I'm going to go a bit bolder
because I love you. I'm giving you 3.
Wow.
It's your Christmas. So give me 3 backman, chat, but we'll start off with LekDog backman.
We will... Lockie Cowan. Don't care where you put him.
You know what? Genuinely, everyone knows I hate the moo. I mean, the wolf. I'd love to get a... Go on.
The moo's fun. Very fun. I'm going to go Jordan Boyd.
Mate, I was leaving you to make the call on now.
Do you want him at high halfback? Like, can I just say, shout out to Nick Rewalt, who said one of Carlton's fixes was play players in the position they were drafted. Shout out, Rui. Revolution. I'm glad someone said it in the media. Boyd, you want him a halfback?
Yes, please.
You know what? Only one man for this job. There's a reason they gave him the acronym HOF, because future Hall of Famer, the next Premiership centre half-back with his new buddy Harry Farrell. The 2 Harrys going to lead Carlton to the promised land. Chat, 3 defenders. You've got a fullback, a halfback, and a pocket. Oh. So give me them names. So 3 names, chat. You've got Ben Camporelli, Carroll, Chera, Chincotta, Cripps, Kerno, Doherty, Evans, Flynn Young, Fantasia, Fogarty, Innes, Hewitt, Hollands, Lucas Camporelli, Lewis Young, Lemmy, Lord, McGovern, Moyer, Mortlot, Petternet, Wheater, Williams, Wilson. Welcome to the preview of Round 1 2026, where we do this with no TDK. Yeah, you're getting used to it now, chat.
So, Wiedering, Haynes are in for sure.
Yeah. That next spot's interesting.
You know what, chat? You had a chance. You had a chance, chat. You could have been bold and gone, Wiedering, you're out. Wiedering and Haynes. You know what? Part of me was, it's only because I'm a simp for O'Farrell, but I did literally want to put Haynes centre half back. No word of a lie. would I be right? And I think Pom Cotter has won it. Oh wait, Wilson.
I think Wilson might have just got it. That last one.
Wilson! You know what? And you can't just say I would actually touch myself if they actually played them positions in game. Wilson and Boyd running it.
But it'd be so good.
Oh, right, midfielders and rucks.
We'll also drop Wilson this week in the real thing because, he's had his
Can I
game.
just say, I'll riot. If we 1 in, 1 out, Wilson, I'll fucking lose it.
Well, I mean, this is easy because I'm going to pick Mark Pitnet, the only ruckman. But I'm excited to do it.
You know what? I am actually quite sad, though, that we've got Pitnet there because it means we're not winning a flag because we've seen him before.
No, that's true. We're not winning the flag. Mate, let's focus on winning a game.
No, but you've promised me. Ian.
I know.
Give me Lucas Camporelli on one of the wings.
The camp dog. I love him. I am going to. You know what? Fuck it. He's in me videos all week.
Huge.
Bring it. Come at me, Ashton. You dirty dog. Right, chat. 3 midfielders. I need a centreman and 2 rovers if we were in the 1965. You know what, Shane? Not a bad call. I'm a big Flynn Riley man. So if you went on Bomber Banter, I proper nosh this guy off. I said they should pick him up. Hey, Caden, I was actually for banter. If he hadn't picked Pitnet, I would have picked Motlop in the Ruck just to fuck the show up.
It'll happen one week, and I can't wait.
Hewitt, Sharon Williams, Cripps Lord, Bampo, Ben. Oh, look, Hewitt's in. You know what? Hewitt is becoming MVP of this year. You know what? If we ever had to change the captain, I was having a chat with this while you finish off putting your names in. I actually said I would make Hewitt the captain.
I'd make Nick Haynes the captain, to be honest.
Really?
Him going at him at halftime made me go, yep, thank you. I love you, Nick Haynes.
My mate had this hypothetical that Carlton should ask Cripps drops the captaincy just to focus on his football and hands it over. To try and give some impetus. I was like, Hewitt would be number 1, just because I feel like it represents the hard work and no ego, doesn't it? No star power. So it looks like Ben Camporelli and Lord are in. Oh, look. Tell you what, I feel like
very tight. It's very tight.
Look at that. Just chat. Look at that. Oh, that's centre line.
Oh. Mate, we're just dumping in inclusions to this team. It's great.
Can I just say that there, centre back, very attacking. Do you know what I mean? Hey, shiny blue, don't mind a bit of Jags, man.
Hey, but that's what, mate. That's like when we drafted Bryce Gibbs and he was already in the leadership group. But
to be fair, do you remember the team that he was captain of?
Yeah, true.
Like, I'm pretty sure I would have had a shout. Right, forwards, Lek.
Okay, I'm just going to look at who's there. And I'm going to pick Motlop because I don't want anyone else to not pick him.
You know what? I made Motlop captain just to wind Carlton fans up. Do it, Carlton. You couldn't dare. Ian.
I'm going the most productive and best non-key forward that we've had over the last month or so, Orazio Fantasia.
Thought that's where you were going.
It's bad when the sexiest small forward we've got is a guy that everyone actually vomited when we signed. How bad's it going? Yeah. You know what? As a rule, I don't like people called Flynn. It's a very posh name. But Flynn Young.
Insanity.
Into my team. Flynn Young's the fastest. I highly doubt that. Alex is very, very quick. Very, very quick. Like fastest He's faster than McGovern. So I'd have to get his GPS data. But Pom Cotter's still killing him, torching him from last week. But he didn't get a chance to run fully. So
got to have the ball to run.
Yeah, time will tell. But he is quite quick, Flynn. But I think Pom Cotter might have him. Might have him still. Chat, we need the keys and the pocket.
Lemmy getting so much love to kick things off.
Yeah. Cripps is getting a lot of love too.
Williams, Lemmy, Cripps. Hey, Cripps up forward, chat. I'm telling you. Listen to Jack Rewalt. Alex Rance. They said he was unstoppable in the forward line.
I think Gov and Cripp are in. And I think
Can I just say, chat, if we drop Kerner, we could be a serious football team.
I don't think anyone would have even remembered him if you didn't just say his name. So what I'm struggling with, I think Lemmy is probably technically winning right now over Williams.
Okay, so that we would do, I'd say we'd do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think, I'll kick it off and I'll put Zach Williams on the bench.
Zebra, Ian?
Ollie Hollins.
Nice.
I can't believe you see, that's because I wanted Ashton in. Ollie, if you ever watch this, I did not mean to drop you.
No,
I was shocked. I was shocked he was there.
It's just,
almost forgot.
Sometimes you got to mess around with the starting sheet just to get the players that need to be in.
It's all about where they finish.
Oh, see, I don't want to pick Chera because he's killing me. Mr.
He's
fucking sidewinder.
I mean, he is probably the best player on that list, but on current form.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give you the easy job, chat. Right, so I need 2 names, chat.
And don't be cowards about it.
2 names. So you've got 2 names. You got Carroll, Chincotta, Kerno, Doherty, Evans, Fogarty, Lewis. Pom Cotter,
wow.
Fogs. Evans, Carroll. Hey, Damien, giving Franny some love. Frangina, as I like to call him. Carroll, Chincotta. Chincotta, Evans. Kerner. Oh, Brian. Carroll, Chincotta.
Grant Spicer. TDK is not injured. He was not selected by any of the selection panel.
Carroll, Evans. Carroll, Pom Cotter. Carroll, Fogg.
Yeah.
Pom
Cotter's in.
But Bobby Hill's going to miss.
And I think Evans is probably winning, but yeah. I'm open to see the final vote.
Here we are.
Marcus, welcome to the show.
Look, Marcus, God bless you. I know you Australians struggle with democracy because you're forced to vote. I know you're forced to vote, so it is quite confusing, but this is how a democracy votes, you see. And this is how democracy done beautifully. Look at the team. 5 changes. Cowan. Actually, there's more, isn't there? Cowan, O'Farrell, Moyer. Lord is the false change because it automatically did it. Lord, Camporelli. Camporelli, Lemmy, Pitternet, B. Camporelli, Evans. Out of this side, go Young, Kerno, Doherty, Fogarty, and
TDK, who didn't even make it into the...
And TDK.
And Silvani too.
Oh, yeah, and Jesus, because he's injured. I don't like to put him in red, so because I like Jesus, he can be an out in green.
Probably someone else who we're not even remembering. But anyway, yeah.
There is someone else as well, but obviously they're not very good for us to remember.
Yeah, we can't even remember who they are.
You know what? I had a lot of fun with that. It's very cathartic is the word. Is that a word?
Cathartic, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. Hey,
got there in the end.
Try saying that when you've popped an Embian. Right, Mr. LekDog, what can people find if they go onto your Twitter?
Mental breakdowns about Carlton. To be honest with you, I'm kind of running out of steam, so I'm not contracted for any more Code Sports articles. So probably be quiet.
Free agent.
I'm a free agent. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm at some stage very soon. I'll start tweet when Pommy starts doing draft stuff, and I start doing my off-season player target lists, depth charts, all that sort of stuff. That's when it'll start ramping up. But we've still got a few weeks left.
Well, we did pre-arrange off camera that we are going to do a special show next year. So if you remember Nuff Busters, Draft Busters, Trade Busters, we're actually going to bring a weekly show where we mock the world of the internet. So stay tuned for that. Ian, what are you guys doing on Navy Blue Corner?
Yes, well, we're finally back.
We forgot.
That'll be the one. Thank you, chat.
Akers.
Blake Akers.
Oh, is he still on the list?
But yeah, what I'm doing, we were meant to have an episode last week. I will absolutely not take any blame for that, and shifted straight towards my co-host Lockie, who apparently got too many important things on, like trying to run the whole tournament of Wimbledon, like that even matters, and the podcast gets thrown away to the side. But this week we're good to go. We are about to record in about a couple minutes, so episode will be up and out tomorrow morning for those that still want to hear a little bit about Carlton. We'll be going through everything top to bottom about this club and not really talking about the games itself because that stuff's boring. So if you like the real niche inside stuff for the real sickos, Navy Blue Corner, listen to the newest pod out tomorrow morning.
Tell you what, it's always good. So get on there. Link is in the comments. Pommyinoz channel. Cracker requested I do a VFL review. That is recorded. It has been edited up. It just needs uploading. So that should go up sometime tomorrow. I have to do a preview of Carlton. That will be up tomorrow as well. Then we've got loads of lives this week. Some more funky donkey content coming out on the weekend. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. Go Blues, I suppose. See you next week.
Go Baggers.